What is going on YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, bringing you yet another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle, and today's opponent is going to be a subscriber/follower on Twitter. His name is Immortal Fox. I've battled him on the channel before, so he usually brings some cool teams, and looking at his team today, he's bringing yet another one. And today's match is a mixed tier match, so that should be a lot of fun. And we actually had a battle before this, and I absolutely got manhandled, and I'm talking slaughtered. It was ridiculous. I think it was like a 4-0 or 5-0. It was something crazy, not worth posting, obviously, because and I know I always say that, you know, the score doesn't matter, but it was not a close match whatsoever. It was it was a slaughter fest, a slaughterhouse. I don't know, but this one was much better, so this should be fun. Now, before we get into the teams, just want to remind you guys that as long as this video reaches that magical number of 50 likes, I will continue to bring you these double daily Wi-Fi battle uploads, hopefully at a better time. I know the last couple of videos have just been so late and erratic with times and all that stuff. I've just been having other stuff go on outside of the YouTube world that has been interfering. I'm pretty sure that stuff is being put behind me now, so the schedule should be returning to normal. And I just want to thank you guys for your support and, you know, standing behind me, all that good stuff. And now looking at his team, he's got the Electabuzz, and the only person I've ever seen run an Electabuzz in mixed tier or whatever, this generation, is me. So I wonder if he's got like a similar set to what I run. I know he watches my videos, so it could be inspired by something that I do, or it could just be that he really likes Electabuzz, and he just decided, you know, he wants to use it. It's a great Pokemon, so that's that. Smeargle does the same thing every time. It's Focus Sash, Spore, you know, shenanigans with the, you know, whatchamacallit, can't think of the word right now. Hazards, that's it. Stealth Rock, Sticky Web, Spikes, all of that stuff. Sometimes I run Dark Void instead of the Spore, but yeah, still very predictable. And he's got the Go-Go. That can be dangerous. Sometimes they have the Bulk Up Milk Drink sets. We'll see what that is later on. He's got the Rotom-Heat, the Azumarill, which is a huge threat. Huge threat. It just destroys everything, and my team does not handle it very well whatsoever, especially because my Jellicent is Cursed Body and not Water Absorb, so he cannot absorb those Aqua Jets. And he's got the Mega Gardevoir as well. Not going to go over my team too much, just because my stuff is pretty straightforward. I got the Crocodile, you know, that's my physical wall. I got the Rocky Helmet, Intimidate, Stealth Rocking, Taunts, all that stuff. So I'm going to lead off with the Crocodile, predicting the Smeargle. And he actually starts off with the Gardevoir. That is a very bad matchup for me because I'm defensive, not invested in speed, so he's definitely going to outspeed me, even before Mega Evolving. So I'm going to have to switch because the Moonblast is going to kill me. So I predicted him to predict me to go into Klinklang and go for the Focus Blast. So I decided to go into Pringles, which is my Jellicent, which will be immune to that Focus Blast, and then I can hit him up with a Shadow Ball. And, you know, this thing is completely specially defensive, so I know I can take a hit. And he does go for the Focus Blast, so that is great for me. And he's going to withdraw because he knows that he cannot beat this thing one-on-one. That's just not going to happen. Doesn't want to give up that Mega Gardevoir right now. So anyway, I predicted that switch and decided to switch into Klinklang. And I predicted that he was going to switch there, but I didn't predict the right Pokemon. So I went into my Klinklang, and that was a bad switch on my part. I decided to go for the Shift Gear here, predicting him to predict me to switch out or go for the Volt Switch. And he just goes for the Overheat, which was the better play. Got in my head a little bit there. And thankfully it doesn't kill. But now he's going to withdraw, I guess predicting me to withdraw. So there's just predictions all over the place. This is what happens when you play another player multiple times. You try to get in their heads and, you know, the predictions are everywhere. So I'm going to go for the Gear Grind here. And the Go-Go comes in. And I think that he regretted that just because if he stayed in with the Rotom, he could have just went for another Heat Wave and killed me off. Especially because he was going to resist my Gear Grind. Anyway, that is going to be indeed a 2-hit KO. Barely. It is barely a 2-hit KO, and I think I got max damage there because I did a little bit more that second time around after the Lefty's recovery and all that stuff. Anyway, he's going to bring in the Because Bunnies. That's right, he nicknamed it Because Bunnies. I don't even know what to say. And I know, as soon as I saw that nickname, I was like, I know this thing is going to destroy my team. There is no competing with Because Bunnies. It's just not going to happen. But he's going to switch out here. He's going to switch into the Ano Hideki. And I actually don't get the reference to that, so my apologies. So if you put it in the comment section below, I'll probably be like, oh yeah, it sounds like an anime name, honestly. But Anyway, he's going to go for the Spore, and I switched in my Kling Klang because I do have the Lumberry. I figured that's what he would go for. I don't have anything else that's going to be immune to it, so that gives me, free reign to kill this thing with a Gear Grind if I wanted to. He's going to switch out into the Rotom here. As I go for that Gear Grind, he avoids the attack. That's not really that big of a deal, just because, it isn't. It's a resisted hit. It's not going to do anything. I didn't have any boosts up. So I decided to go for the Volt Switch. That's right, I'm carrying Volt Switch on an Adamant Kling Klang because it gives some pretty good switch priority. So I'm going to switch into the Noivern, predicting the Overheat. And the stab at this Rotom gave me some problems because I didn't have anything that resisted both, I don't believe. So I just kind of had to guess which one he was going to go for. Thankfully, he did go for the Overheat, and now he's going to have to be... yeah, that's good English. He's going to be forced to switch out pretty much. And I predicted that, decided to go for the U-turn so I could get some switch priority. And that is great for me and all that stuff. He goes into the Mega Gardevoir, who takes that kind of sort of okay. I'm going to go into my Infernape, and I pretty much have to just let a Pokemon die here. I really do. I decided to predict, however, instead of going for the Fire Punch, decided to go for the Thunder Punch, predicting the Azumarill to come in because it resists both my stabs. And, he didn't want his Gardevoir to take damage, even though he could kill me. All of that good stuff. He does predict that, though, go into the Rotom. So there's just predictions everywhere. So much switching. You would think that this is like a try-hard OU match with how much switching we did. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So he goes for the Overheat here as I switch in the Manectric. He gets a crit on that. I'm pretty sure he wasn't Specs. Pretty sure he wasn't, so I think that did matter. I was not running Mega Manectric, by the way. That was a Scarf Manectric, so it wasn't like I was going to Mega Evolve and get my defenses boosted or anything like that. I wasn't going to gain any bulk. Wasn't going to happen, but I'm pretty sure I would live a hit. Anyway, I'm pretty much forced to go into the Kling Klang here. Decided to go for the Shift Gear, predicting a switch after the Overheat, but he just kills me off, and really that was my only play there. I probably should not have even brought in Kling Klang at that point, but it really didn't have any other use other than Death Fodder, and I figured I would take a chance to see if I could get him to overpredict, and that did not happen. So, out comes the Smeargle, out comes the Crocodile, and this works out well for me because I'm faster than the Smeargle, and I can taunt it to prevent it from putting me to sleep, and from setting up hazards. It would just render it completely useless. So out comes the Electabuzz, and thankfully, I just decided to go for the Earthquake. I knew he was afraid of the taunt, and I figured my best move was to just go for the Earthquake. And if he switches, that's perfect. I knew he wouldn't want to stay in with that Smeargle. He does switch into the Electabuzz. It gets a crit, which does matter because he was running Impish max HP, max defense. He told me after the match, which is just absolutely incredible. Physically defensive Electabuzz. How funny is that? So he would have lived the hit, no doubt. That crit did matter, and I apologize about that. But he's going to bring in the Because Bunnies here, and everybody knows what Because Bunnies does by this point. Just destroys everything. Doesn't matter if you're physically defensive. He just one-shots my Crocodile. In comes the Jellicent, and he's going to almost one-shot that. It leaves me with 9 HP. I have nothing for this thing. Went for the Scald. Of course, I am not going to get the burn. I do get the crit, but that doesn't mean jack, because it just doesn't. It's a not very effective hit. What I should have done is went for the Will-O-Wisp, but I was really afraid of that Rotom coming in, and I'm not doing well. My predictions are bad, and I'm playing way too recklessly. I needed to play it safe a little bit more, but it just was not happening. So out comes the Infernape, and he knows that I have the Thunder Punch, and he's most likely Choice Banded, so he's going to be outsped and killed. So he's going to switch into the Ano Hideki, and I can go for that Thunder Punch, and I really didn't have anything to lose by going for the Thunder Punch. He could bring in the Rotom, but I was going to be able to do a lot of damage afterwards anyway. So the Smeargle just gets foddered off there. And now he's going to bring Because Bunnies in again so that he can Aqua Jet me. And that is a little bit of a problem because I know he's banded. I can tell by the way he's playing it. And I'm going to switch into Starscream here. And that's going to take the Aqua Jet kind of, sort of okay, honestly. It really isn't that bad at all. So I know he has to switch here. I could just go for a Draco Meteor, predicting that switch. And in comes the Hot Pocket, who takes quite a bit of damage from that Stealth Rocks, which is great. I went for the Flamethrower, actually. because I was really afraid that he was going to switch in the Gardevoir again, and that would just render me useless because I am Specs. I don't want to be locked into Draco Meteor with two fairies still left alive. He's going to go for the rest here, so he's the Resto Chesto set. There's nothing that I can do about it, and at this point, I've come to realize that his team outmatches mine, first of all, and on top of that, he's just out-predicting me. I've made some nice predictions, but it's not enough right now. I went for the close combat there on the Rotom, thinking I might have a chance to kill it, but it was at full health. I mean, what are the chances that you're just going to one-shot it, even if you are Life Orb? If I was Choice Banded, that would be a different story. I think he would have died there, just flat-out died. But he survives the close combat, and he gets a hit off, and I'm going to lower my defenses even further and take Life Orb damage from going for another close combat. I was thinking about going for a Thunder Punch, predicting a switch into one of the fairies, but it was not worth it at that point. I had to kill something. So out comes the Because Bunnies, and I know he's going to just one-shot me with the Aqua Jet. So I pretty much am forced to switch out here. I have no choice. I only have Starscream and Infernape left. I need Starscream to take the hit. I just absolutely need him to take the hit. And he goes for the Aqua Jet, and he gets the crit. If he didn't get that crit, I would have survived another Aqua Jet and would have been able to kill off this thing. And it did not happen. It was like the worst possible scenario there was for him to get a crit on that Aqua Jet. And now there's nothing I can do. I have to come in with the Infernape and go for the Mach Punch and hope for a crit. And I do not get it. And I needed a crit there and a crit on the Gardevoir coming in, I guess. But it was at, too high of a health. So I guess it wouldn't have mattered. As soon as he got that crit, it was over. And that is going to be the match. So it's going to be a 2-0 in my opponent's favor. And I admit I was a little bit salty about that after just getting slaughtered and then having the crit, kind of ruin my life there at the end where I had a chance to come back. But, that's the nature of the game. And if I played better earlier on in the match, I would not have been in that position to where the crit would have mattered anyway. So bottom line is it comes down on me, and you live and you learn. I guess you can't win them all. And I really enjoyed his team. I really wanted to see that defensive Electabuzz in action because Electabuzz's physical defense is like 40 or 50. It's terribly low. So running at max, defense, max HP, impish Electabuzz is kind of crazy. Really wanted to see it in action. I really wanted to see that Go-Goat do something as well. And from the looks of it, it was pretty bulky. So it was probably bulk up Milk Drink, or maybe just an all-out physical attacker with like Life Orb or something. Who knows? We will never know. I guess Immortal Fox, you can just leave what the sets were on those in the description below. I'd be interested, and I don't think you told me in our conversation. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. It was a good match. Thank you very much for the match, Immortal Fox. I'm sure we will have another one sometime in the future. And thank you to everybody who watched. All of the viewers out there, thank you very much for watching as always, and also do not forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, because it does help out a lot. So that's it for this time. I will see you for the next battle, but until then, game on.